What is up, everybody? It's time. It's time to talk some Carolina Panthers. It's time to talk some football in general. I'm super excited for this one. Hopefully, you guys are too. This one's going to be a long one for sure. Probably going to get at least an hour in here. Just waiting for Rob and, of course, our guy Zach to hop on in here. Got everything ready. Yeah, let's get this thing going. And of course, we got the Lions game going. I wish I could put it on screen for you guys, but that is not a reality, unfortunately. Is there okay, good. This is at least a game cast. Gonna be an interesting one, man. Don't know what Carolina's gonna do. Don't know what Bryce Young is gonna do. Might be out multiple weeks. Obviously, we saw quite a bit with the defense kind of coming back into the fray. Defense is finally a focus of this team. Not only a focus of this team, but a strength, a massive strength. And to be honest, not even through my guy Lathan Ransom. It's through everybody else. It's through Princely Umar-Miel. And of course, I mean, we can't not talk about the guy, right? Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, 2 interceptions. Come on. What a freaking day. And I think somebody said that Derek Brown was actually credited with 3 sacks on the day. If that's the case, chef's kiss, because they absolutely had a day. Obviously, it's versus the Jets, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But at the same time, I'm not gonna keep putting down the wins. The wins are happening. Maybe the first one, maybe even the second fluky win, sure. That discredited a little bit. I understand that, pessimistic fan in me. But at the same time, man, I've got to be honest with myself. Something's happening. And not only that, something's happening this year. Not next year. Not 2027. This year. But of course, that gets a little torpedoed. Bryce Young, again, might be out for a bit. Don't love that at all. Don't love it. I think the whole Andy Dalton thing is not going to go well, even though, shout out to my guy, Jordan Cork. I just don't see it. Genuinely, I just don't see it. I don't see a world where we can win the games that we need to. Now, don't get me wrong. If we come out of this next little stretch 2-2, hey, we might be able to have a conversation. But as of right now, I cannot co-sign on the idea that Andy Dalton is the future, even the temporary future of this team. So where's that going to bring me? Of course, it's going to bring me to a guy named Hendon Hooker. But obviously we've heard, Dave Canales wants to bring in outside people, might even think about bringing in another quarterback. What does that mean? Who is he really realistically going to bring in? Because you're not going to bring in somebody to really challenge Bryce Young. So you're wanting to bring in what, a really good backup? No offense, none of the really good backups at this point are going to be worth trading for unless it involves getting rid of Andy Dalton. Now, don't get me wrong. If you tell me right now that we're going to make a play, we're going to go out there and we're going to go get Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton's going to be a part of that, meaning that I don't have to also deal with Dalton back there too, then I'm listening, okay? I'm absolutely listening. I'm down with the idea of bringing in a really solid backup. But that means we're talking about giving up future assets, committing to that guy most likely long term. Is that guy, 30-plus-year-old Jameis Winston? I mean, I think he's like 32 now, but is it really committing to a guy like that? No. Is it going to get Russell Wilson? No, because I genuinely think he could contend with Bryce Young. I don't think that's feasible to then say Bryce Young can come back into the fold 3-4 weeks down the road. Obviously, I hope it's 1 or 2 weeks. But genuinely, what if it's 3 or 4 weeks? What if it's longer before we truly get to 100% Bryce back? I mean, obviously that gives us a little bit of time. He misses the really crazy games. He misses the Packers game. He misses the Buffalo game. There's a little bit where he's going to benefit inherently. Somebody else is going to have to go through that little gauntlet. And then he can come out on the other side of it having to play, the Falcons, Saints, Going into the bye, obviously we got that 49ers Rams thing to end it out right before that bye actually kicks in. So that is a tough little stretch. So if Bryce is back by then obviously, we're still cooking with fire. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm also in the camp that I don't think Bryce is the quarterback that we paid for. I'm not going to lie, guys, we got a lemon. And I don't mean a lemon in that he is a complete loss. And obviously, I'm being a little facetious with the lemon. I'm talking about really that we didn't get the guy that we thought he was. We thought he would be this ultimate weapon, this guy that would be able to go out there and not only elevate the people around him, but do it in a way that isn't obviously costing the team a lot. We obviously remember the David Tepper quote talking about he's the point guard. He can distribute to lesser weapons and elevate them and everything. And unfortunately, I don't think we've really gotten there. I mean, I hate to say it because I want to see us, get there, especially with Bryce, especially with the amount that we invested in and everything like that. But is that really going to happen? No. I could see a scenario where we're genuinely out on him by the end of the year, which is a terrible thing to talk about. I'm trying to see if this will actually load. Like if this is going to say, okay. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the background. I just kind of have the Bucks-Lions game in the back. For anybody that is not watching, unfortunately, I can't stream the game. Otherwise, I would stream it directly to you. But yeah, I don't know, man. It puts us in a really interesting place, genuinely. Shout out Zach, aka Stop and Look, is going to be a few minutes late, and Rob should be in here soon. So we'll kind of get this thing kicked off with a little bit more conversation going back and forth. Which shout out to them for just again making the time to come on here and talk. We kind of made sure to set this up so this way everybody could get their time to really talk about what they wanted to. Obviously, we're going to talk about Hendon Hooker. We're going to talk about a few different things. But either way, oh, damn. Thank God that's gone. Oh, that scared me. I was like, who the hell is this lady talking in the background? If you couldn't hear that, all of a sudden some random lady from ESPN or something started talking in a video. But yeah, overall, I'm in a weird place with this team because, of course, my early prediction was what? 6-7 wins. We're already at 4, dude. I was listening to 99.9 The Fan earlier. Shout out to Chris Lee and Dennis Cox. And they were talking about last year. We didn't get our 4th win until 14 weeks in the season last year. We got in week 7 this year. That is a massive change. And not only that, I think that's a massive culture change. I do also think that some of these are kind of like those Vikings games from, what was it, last year? Where they ended up with like 12 wins and they were just kind of winning those little battles, those little moments. That's what Carolina's doing now. We're winning the little moments. We didn't blow it against the Jets. We didn't all of a sudden let up a late Garrett Wilson touchdown where all of a sudden we needed to score with no starting quarterback out there. That's not what we had to deal with. We had to deal with a team that was just landing the plane. Just make sure that nothing goes crazy. We don't throw a pick. Don't do anything terrible. Just, hey, we're the Carolina Panthers. Let's go out there and let's just make this shit happen. Let's make this win happen. And that's exactly what they did. And honestly, a lot of guys were able to tee off. Shout out Nick Scorton for that sack. To be honest, Trevon Moehrig looked electric. I felt like he was constantly on the field. Crazy plays, absolutely crazy plays. Of course, T-Mac had that little catch over the middle where he ended up running down like the 30-yard line, left side. Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, we had the moments. Then again, we also had the moments where we saw Rico Dowdle continually run better than Chuba Hubbard. Does that mean we have to have a conversation about a guy like Chuba Hubbard? Does that mean that we have to be like, oh my God, he's got to go? We've got to make a decision about him. No. I think it's worth having a conversation in the offseason. Right now, I don't think you need to do anything crazy. Just go out there and run Rico, run Chuba, put them in situations to succeed, and go from there. I do think you ride the hotter hand in Rico Dowdle when it comes to more snaps. We obviously saw that in this game. That was something that Dave Canales actually talked about in the press conference. One of the days where he was wearing the white shirt. I think it was the day before the game, because obviously it wasn't post game. It was either the day before the game or 2 days before the game. And he talked about, oh, yeah, I don't believe in the philosophy that you can't lose your spot due to injury. I think the guys can. And I was like, really now? Okay, that's an interesting, place to. Oh, I guess it wasn't updating. I'm just going to leave it here. Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to say. Obviously, as the head coach, you should be like, oh no, Chuba, his place is safe and everything like that. But when you immediately don't just come out and go, nope, Chuba's job is safe. Don't even worry about that. We just paid him all this other. He's like, I subscribe to the idea that people could lose their job on their days off or when they're injured. Just a crazy thing to say for a head coach, for one. But I also think it's indicative of what this team wants to be. This team wants to be tenacious. This team wants to be next guy up. This team wants to be, I guess, pushing in the same direction to the point where they don't really care about the personnel. But if that's the case, that's what every team wants. Every team realistically wants to go out there and not have to worry about who's out there, whether or not it's your first string or your third string. I don't think that's really a crazy, thing to talk about. Genuinely. What is really the better part of this whole story and the Carolina Panthers in general is the team's winning. The team's taking those moments where we would normally not be able to do anything, where we would normally be able to go out there and you would see us, charging or whatever it may be. We would go out there and just not give full effort. We would miss the kicks. Shout out to my guy. One of these days, I want to get him on the pod. Ryan Fitzgerald, absolutely amazing kicker. Loved him. Picked him as one of the guys that I really wanted to make sure that we made the team. And, of course, he was able to do that. I thought it was crazy that Matthew Wright was even in the conversation when a guy like Ryan Fitzgerald, the undrafted free agent out of Florida State, was there. Genuinely. And not just that, but he was 5th overall at Florida State all time when it comes to field goals over 50 yards. So he's obviously got a little bit of a cannon on him. Maybe not a 60-yard cannon, but, a consistent, 55, 57, 59. To be honest, if he could ever get it to a 60, that's perfect. But again, he's an undrafted free agent. He's a rookie. He's 24, 25. Like, he could realistically do this for another decade. And obviously missing that one, I think it was an extra point, if I'm going to be honest with you, made me very angry. Aside from that, he's been lights out. Obviously, he went, the first 5 field goals were all makes. Fantastic. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have to worry about the punter. We've actually got a really good punter. Shout out to him. Cade Mays has taken a step up in that center position, even though the PFF grade for Cade is not the best. He's obviously done a lot better than Corbett now that Corbett was at guard. For the most part, the team did well, especially against that Jets front that, to be honest, can just get a lot of flat-out pressure, even though that offense is just so bad. Man, I thought the Carolina Panthers offense was bad. We have completely turned a corner when it comes to offensive personnel. To be honest, that T-Mac pick was the right pick. Seems like he was the right guy. Even though I'm a Emeka Egbuka fan, I do think that Emeka benefits from the Tampa system, from the Tampa offensive line, even though they are hurt. And obviously now he's hurt. I do think to this point he has benefited from just people are having to scheme for Chris Godwin, having to scheme for Mike Evans. Oh, I don't want this. Yeah, I don't want that. That was the lady that popped up earlier. But yeah, I don't think that it's fair to compare Egbuka to T-Mac, especially given their situations. T-Mac is genuinely having to carry the Carolina Panthers. Egbuka is obviously having to carry the Bucks quite a bit, but we can't ignore guys like Mike Evans. We can't ignore guys like Rachaad White and, of course, Bucky Irving. But it looks like Rico might be this year's, little Bucky Irving. Might be that guy that's breaking out because right now, when it comes to true rookie running backs, man, it's Quinshon Judkins or busts. Ashton Genty's been better. Trevion Henderson has been good, not great. I shouldn't even say good. He's been bad, if I'm going to be honest with you, especially with where he was drafted. Again, I was one of the people that drafted a lot of rookies. A lot of my fantasy teams are really hurting right now. Trevion Henderson is the reason for that. RJ Harvey is the reason for that. Obviously, I feel like he should be doing better. I feel like he is the guy that Bucky was last year. But he really, honestly, has not shown it. He hasn't shown the ability to genuinely do anything. And Bo Nix can go out there and ball out, but he's just not a part of it. Oh, shout out, Rob. What's up, Rob?
Yo.
What you doing? You watching the game?
I was.
Okay.
I'm just chilling right now.
Yeah, I got it. I got it on my phone. And then obviously I got it on screen for everybody else to kind of see the play-by-play, but I've just been kind of talking through random stuff. Especially this Panthers team, dude. I don't even know what we are looking at. Obviously something good, but
yeah.
I just can't believe. I listened to 99.9 The Fan earlier, real quick. Last year, I said this fact a little bit ago. It took us 14 games to get to 4 wins. We got it in 7 this year. What a win! That in itself is a massive win.
Yeah, massive win. Do you see us? I don't see us drafted in top 10 anymore.
Drafted in the top 10, I can see us outside the 10, but I'll tell you why that isn't the best for us. One, it means that we're going to be missing out on probably a linebacker. That Arvell Reese kid from Ohio State might be top 8, depending on what happens. Now, don't get me wrong, offensive guys might be able to push him out and be able to make him more feasible, especially because he's more of a coverage linebacker rather than like an edge threat. But overall, I'm just, man, I don't love the idea of us having like the 13th pick. It's going to be a real crapshoot. We're going to miss out on somebody awesome. But I would rather pick 13th than 3rd.
Yeah. Speaking of linebacker is really the strength of this draft.
Agreed.
There's probably going to be like 7 to 8 linebackers in the top 50, like that are ranked like on a big board. So I'd be comfortable even getting a linebacker in the second. But I do think like we're in position to just take BPA at whatever our first pick will be.
I agree. Also, shout out, Zach. Appreciate you coming on by tonight, taking time out of your night.
Appreciate it, man. I'm sorry I'm late. I had to help some family move some stuff, so I kind of got tied up with that for a little bit. But I'm in my car now.
Oh, damn. Okay. What you out and about or?
Nah, I'm heading back home now.
Okay. What? A long drive or?
Nah. I'm just right up the road.
Okay, good. But yeah, I actually came up with a crazy idea. If that's the case, and a guy like Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State, falls, that means most likely his teammate Sonny also falls. So maybe we trade up into the high second or late first and go just take both Ohio State linebackers and just put them both on the defense.
Yeah, I see you're on the CLT train. I see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be totally opposed to that idea. I mean, look what the Eagles did. They drafted the entire Georgia starting defense. I think it was Rob that said that, or somebody said that, and it would make sense if we just stacked our defense with as many Ohio State players as possible because we already got Lathan Ransom. So it would just be there'd be that sense of familiarity there.
And not just that, but they would be coming off of most likely a playoff run in college, maybe another natty, and everything like that. So there's a whole, thing to that. And yeah, that's been my big thing is once I saw Philly do it, I'm like, damn, that's such a smart idea. Like I said, if somebody was really smart last year, if you went out and got it was the edge rusher from Ole Miss. I can't remember his name right now. But anyways, it was him, and then the cornerback from there, Trey Amos, ended up both going like first and second round. I was like, man, just pair both of them together. Like, chemistry matters.
Like Fisk
Yes,
and
I saw a
Ricks.
lot of people saying that Walter Nolan in the first round and then Princely
That's
in
what
like
it
the
was.
second or third round is just
Yeah.
like, man, like, we could do something like that, but I think it's a good idea. In theory. Now the question is will it work out for us like it worked out for the Eagles? Because sometimes things have a way of not working out for us like
Getting
it works out
pampered.
for other teams. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be
Yeah.
okay with that if we're using Reese as an edge rusher. I would
You
not
like you
want to
like Reese as
use.
an edge rusher?
I wouldn't want to
Really?
use two premium picks on linebacker. I'd rather
I
use
mean,
them on
I
premium
think he can do
positions.
both though. Like, I mean, I wouldn't feel 100% comfortable switching him to full-time edge.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying? But I also think, premium draft capital, premium positions, like that whole logic train, it tracks to an extent, but you just got to get good football players in the building
It might not
at some
be.
point.
It might not be then for linebacker. It might be for like a Caleb Downs, and then trade back up for the Sonny, or trade back
Yeah.
up for something,
Well,
or
the
vice
thing
versa.
is
Take
safety,
our,
does safety count as a premium pick? If
in
we're
my
saying
opinion, it
off-ball
does.
linebacker, if we're saying off-ball linebacker is in a premium position,
Yeah, you're
does
right.
safety count as a premium? Because when I think of premium positions, okay, I'm thinking of quarterback, tackle, receiver, corner,
Yeah,
and edge rusher. You got to be able to be the quarterback, protect the quarterback, get to the quarterback, or intercept the quarterback.
I could see us, to be honest, going and picking a top flight corner, like going and picking that kid from
Yeah.
what is it? Is it LSU?
Mansoor,
Yeah,
Durant, yeah.
Mansoor.
I'd rather go for, I think that would be a really nice addition to our defense actually. And it will kind of unlock JC more because you won't be able to just, throw JC on one side of the field. Um,
Well, not
like
just
go
that, but
away.
it
Yeah.
lets Mike Jack cover the 3, and Mike Jack on the 3.
Yeah.
Oh, give me that.
I think it would allow us to play more man coverage too. And then you can really deploy JC Horn like a weapon.
I agree. I just don't know what we do now, and obviously everybody's having the conversation, so I'll keep this a little bit, on track. What are we doing right now with the whole Rico Chuba thing? Because I feel that obviously we saw first that in that game Rico got more carries. Dave Canales also said, I believe it was Thursday, that he is okay with players losing their starting role to injury. So if that's the case, is he just kind of veiled, kind of saying that Chuba lost the gig and he's going to have to go out there and beat Rico for the job? And if that's the case, are we kind of on the hook for going and, giving Rico an extension?
I think, ultimately, I think it's a good problem to have one way or another.
I agree.
The thing is that, even though what Dave said what he said, I believe that Chuba has earned the right to not lose the job by injury. Just about like people are so like quick to forget that 2 years ago he was the only shining light on offense.
I 100%
Like
agree.
2023, Chuba was the only good thing we had going on offense, and even for stretches of last year, he was the only good thing we had going on offense. And we're just so quick to just throw him to the side because the thing with calf injuries is we don't know how long he's been dealing with that calf injury, and him coming back, not only from a calf injury, but playing on the MetLife turf, playing against a tough run defense. Like, I don't think Chuba was 100% yesterday, and that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, the game went how it went. Rico had the more explosive plays. Chuba had a few plays of his own, but I mean, I have no issue with them continuing to split carries just because, like, people are like, and I don't get it. Like, everybody's so critical. Like, oh, because I heard on the broadcast, like Mark Schlereth kept going, oh, they need to keep feeding Rico down. I'm like, hold on now, like. What was it about, offensive coordinators in the late 2000s and early 2010s that were able to figure out how to get two running backs involved in the game and it be seamless? Like, what happened? Like, are we saying that offensive coordinators are less advanced than what they were 15 or so years ago? Because if you remember, there was a point in time where every single team had two capable running backs.
Yeah. And not just
So
that, but had guys that were consistently in the game. Like we weren't just like putting one guy in for the majority of snaps and then the other guy was getting 5 at the end. A lot of guys were splitting carries, kind of like the Lions were doing or are doing now.
right. And it's just like I think we have that has to be our identity. We have to be a 2 running back offense because we don't know how long Bryce is going to be out. And 2, even when Bryce is out there, I mean, he has his times where he doesn't look quite as effective as what he should. And then he has his moments where, it's like, okay, this is what the offense should look like. So I just think going forward, that should be our identity. Like it's a good problem to have. We can worry about extensions after the season, but right now we got to win football games. And that's
Corey,
the quickest way to win football games.
Ish, I was with you, Jack. Like initially, like you know what I'm saying, and I was like, man, why are people so quick to throw Chuba away? You know what I'm saying? But then I watched the game, and to me, there's a clear difference between the two right now. You feel
I
me?
agree.
And like because they're such similar players, it's kind of weird. Like if they had absolutely different skill sets, I'd agree with like using them in much different ways. But and I do agree. I think Chuba's like maybe dealing with something because he doesn't look like the same player to me as last year. Last year he seemed more explosive, he seemed more decisive, like he ran with more power. But I feel like even though Chuba, is a team captain, he's integral to the team.
Yes.
Right now, we're receiving kind of diminishing returns, in my opinion, by playing him and giving him significant workload. I think it should be 70-30 Rico because I think he's just way better right now.
I agree, and I feel like you have to ride the hot hand, especially with a team that now is without the quarterback, a team that like realistically hasn't blown anybody out. I understand the Atlanta game, but I feel like especially with the game last night with Atlanta, maybe it's a little bit more of the implosion of Atlanta and less on the offensive prowess of Carolina. And that's where I feel like coming into this next game, that's where I feel like he should solidify. It should be that 70-30 split. I agree that we shouldn't trade Chuba or do anything like that. But I'm totally okay with riding the hot hand for as long as we can take it. Because right now it's at the point where I just need the spark. Because right now the idea of rolling a guy like Andy Dalton out there to just hand balls off to Chuba Hubbard for 3 yards, it doesn't sound like a winning formula against a team like Buffalo or next week, the Packers. I want Chuba to still be on the team. I would love a scenario where it's, Rico Chuba right now. And then, when we get to the offseason, hey, let's get him an extension. Let's get him paid. Let's keep him on this team. You know what? Yeah, we're paying 2 running backs, but we're still not paying Jonathan Brooks. I'm still not paying ETN. Those guys can be on special teams. I can save some money in other places. And I could really make this work. Let's be a team like the Lions that runs both guys. I'm totally fine with that. But if we're doing that, we have to have the Bryce conversation because, in my opinion, I don't feel like Canales is really giving it to Bryce to, by the way, crazy ball to Mike Evans. And I think Mike Evans is hurt. I think Mike Evans just got hurt in the game. Crazy. But yeah, I'm totally fine with just running the 2-headed dragon in running backs.
So I agree with most of what you said until the part where you say we should pay Rico.
So you really think we shouldn't?
I don't want to be over invested into running backs who are both 26 and up. You know what I'm saying? Like to an extent, to me, I just don't think it'd be a good use of our cap, and we're already kind of like strapped, especially because we're paying the O-line so much. You can save money by trading Chuba in the, you know what I'm saying. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't pay. I'd want to be seeing like how good Brooks is doing at that point. I don't think the front office has given up on him. we're already giving Chuba like 8+ million. You feel me? And to
Yeah.
sign
And
another running back,
what would Chuba? Oh, I mean, realistically, we're not going to give Rico what 6.5. We're not going to give him 8. I mean, another team might
yeah,
give him more, but there's a scenario where you could be like, "Hey, man, I want you to be my Jahmyr Gibbs, and Chuba can be my, David Montgomery."
yeah. I don't.
What do you think,
What
Zach?
role did I? Yeah.
I mean, I think Rob is like really harping on the the cap analytics and how we'd be perceived against certain organizations. Like, I'm not really too worried about, quote unquote, being overinvested at running back. Like you said, like, I just want a winning formula that works for us. I'm not really worried about, doing it exactly like how certain organizations do it. Like, we just got to find what works for us and go with it. If that means that we're paying both, both Rico and Chuba, I mean, it's not ideal, but at the end of the day, like, if this whole thing works, if this whole thing, works for us and we get all the way to a playoff berth, right?
Yes.
How do you look the fan base? Like, I mean, they're not really looking at us, but like, how do you look the fan base in the eyes and say, yeah, no, we're not keeping Rico. We're going to do something else. Like, what is Jonathan Brooks like? I get like Jonathan Brooks, he had some plays before he got hurt again, but like, realistically, what has he shown that you can really hold on to that says, yeah, okay, we can replicate this next year with Brooks? Like,
I don't trust Brooks as a runner now, especially with seeing the lost step with Chuba. I understand that Brooks is only 21, but back-to-back ACL tears, dude, like,
Yeah,
it's
happened to
tough.
J.K. Dobbins. Look at J.K. Dobbins is still explosive.
It's tough, man. But once
yeah,
again,
but how
it's
far
like
is J.K. Dobbins
you're
out
playing
from
the
that
hopeful
injury?
game,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to go out to the 4 years. Let's at least get him through the contract. So I'm totally fine with continuing him. Same thing again with Chuba and everything. But if we're not going to extend Rico, I don't love the idea of not trading him before the deadline. Like, there's other teams that would give us a solid haul for him. And if we're really not going to even give him the opportunity to get a contract, and we know that he's going to go into a lame duck and we're going to only offer him, say, $4 million, and we know that we're genuinely not going to do anything, I feel like we could put him someplace else to give him an opportunity to succeed while also milking as much opportunity out of him as possible. Because what's to say a Chiefs or somebody like that doesn't look at a guy like Rico that goes off for those 2 games? Let's say, for example, he goes off and has 100+ against Buffalo. I mean, it's a perfect time to get rid of him. No offense.
I think the team is trying to win right now. Like, I think they're doing everything they can to win. So I don't think they're going to ship off either of the running backs, especially like while we're winning right now.
You know what? Fair.
Just I don't
That's
see it
fair.
happening. I don't. I'm telling you guys what I think will happen. I don't think they would re-sign Rico, especially while paying Chuba, and Chuba's like the leader of the team. And we just drafted ETN, and we just drafted Chuba. We're pretty heavily invested into the running back room already right now, and we have other rooms that need some more help. You know what I'm saying? We need help in the linebacker room. We can use some help in the safety room, the cornerback room. You know what I'm saying? So like we have to build a team, right? And you can find running back production anywhere. Like running backs grow on trees. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? So and if you look at some of the holes that we're creating, like a lot of people could run behind these holes. We're
You
we're
think?
like we're top 3. Last time I checked, I know we're definitely top 10, but last time I checked, we were top 3 or 4 in yards before contact. So we're creating a push with our line way above the rate on the average of the rest of the league.
Yeah, then why isn't Chuba able to do it? That's my problem. If we're getting it with Rico, why isn't Chuba able to replicate anything that Rico is able to do? Like you said, he genuinely looks just like a different runner. It looks
he's
like they're playing almost
compromised.
2 different games.
You
think it's- Chris, you think
it
it's just
sounds like
injury?
an excuse, but I do think he's compromised because, I mean, even before the injury, he was averaging like 4 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah,
again,
not
like
too
the
bad.
Jets,
Yeah.
like the Jets aren't, the Jets are a good run defense, but I mean, he wasn't he averaged like 2.9 yards per carry. Like he's not 100. There's no way he can be 100%.
You're right.
With a calf injury like that. Like there's just no way he can be 100%. And I think
sometimes running backs age in dog years.
And yeah, and that's another point. Like maybe, I mean, we ran him a lot the last 2 years. I think he had over like 300 touches in each of those years. Like we relied on Chuba a whole lot. So I mean, maybe it's just it's just not that time for him.
Yeah, it must. So, if that's the case, though, then it must hurt a guy like Chuba to know, like, hey, you've even lost a tiny bit of a step, and now the fan base wants you gone, or even any part of the fan base, like not even a big part or anything like that. Like again, I don't think we should advocate for him or even Rico to go anywhere. We just need to give Rico the opportunity. I agree. It needs to be more of a split towards him. And don't get me wrong, if he takes the step back, hey, maybe Chuba, maybe it's his time to take that step forward. Maybe it's, just kind of interchanging them at times. But I don't agree that they should be anywhere close to the same snaps as long as Rico's playing like this.
Yeah. I think ideally, best case scenario, it's going to look like Chuba's going to have his games and then Rico's going to have his games.
Do you think Chuba's going to have a game this year, genuinely?
I think he could. I think he could have success against Buffalo.
Really? I mean, obviously they're the worst rush defense in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever carries they give him against Buffalo, I expect him to be relatively productive. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't expect another 2.9 yards per carry day on Sunday. Like that's just not like I have more expectations than that. And if that's the case, then I'll be open to having that conversation that everybody else has already had. But it's just like, I feel like, first game back from a calf injury and you're playing a good run defense, it's just not a fair observation, because there were even times where Rico got stuffed at the line, like that 4th and 1, like they got into the backfield and stopped. Like it was like Rico had more explosive runs. Yes. But the getting stuffed wasn't just exclusive to Chuba. Like Rico got stuffed as well. Like the Jets are just a tough team to run on. But if it happens to him again this Sunday, then okay, we can have a discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at him, pulling it up right now. The ones that have given up the least rush yards. These are the bottom 5: Texans, Packers, Seahawks, Bucks, Patriots. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to play the Bucks twice. We got the Packers game coming up, so we're going to have to go and get some teams that, are absolutely able to stop the run. But those are the games. Again, that Packers game is going to be another big one for me. And then we go down a little bit. I mean, we're just outside the top 10, it looks like. It looks like we're either 10 or 11. And then just behind us is the 49ers, another game we're going to have to play as well. And then, of course, the Rams are somewhere on there. But regardless of anything, I don't care who you are, the Rams are still one of the best defenses in the league. They have their moments where they, kind of give stuff up, but they can get a lot of pressure real quick. It feels like Aaron Donald's still there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what happens when you draft well, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Like, Braden Fisk, what a crazy pick.
Fisk, Jared Verse, like they're just a team that drafts really well. But
Brian Burns 2.0.
Yeah.
Same school and everything.
I know. But I mean, we're gonna have to keep relying on the run the rest of this season. So, like, regardless of who we're gonna have to figure it out. And hopefully, Damian Lewis is back, because I think Austin Corbett, starting at left guard, played a role in our offense not being as effective running the ball as what we had been as well.
Agreed.
I think Corbett, he's a lot better than Zavala or what's his face? What's the other guy that they were trying to put out there? Right. Yeah, he's much better than those guys, but he's also a lot worse than Damian Lewis is.
Yeah, but Damian Lewis is also being compensated more than pretty much everybody else on that line, other than Robert Hunt.
Yeah, and that's deservedly. I think
he's been playing really good this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah, he's probably been our best offensive lineman all year.
I agree.
So I think missing him was was a big deal for trying to establish the run. I said, like, hopefully we can get him back once we start playing these teams that are tougher against the run. Like, we'll need him against Tampa Bay because Vita Vea is a handful.
They're getting smacked right now.
Yeah, that's good.
Baker's got
Detroit's
20.
also in a different. Detroit's also in a different ballpark than us right now. I think so.
Hey, on the right day, it might be 30-0.
Hey man, I told people, man, the Bucks were going. They had like a Mickey Mouse run. They were just going
Ham on
winning
everybody.
straight one possession games, like 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think they stole a lot of those games. Like, I don't think they're quite as good as a 5-1 team really is. I thought they were due for some regression. We were kind of seeing some of that tonight.
Yeah, and they're dealing with the injury. Of course, Mike Evans has also got hurt on a deep ball. They're missing Chris Godwin. They're missing Luke Gadecki. They're missing I think 2 other linemen. They're kind of in the same boat as us. 2 and 3 of their starting linemen are pretty much either, I think, completely out or on temporary IR. Which, speaking of, they're talking about Robert Hunt might be able to come back late. Unless we're at, 7 wins and realistically in playoff contention, then he might want to come back. Otherwise, I'd say just wait.
I mean, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I mean, if we're really in playoff contention without him, do we really want to mess with that? Like, how much do we want to mess with that?
Okay.
Like, it sounds ridiculous because I
agree.
Robert Hunt all this money.
I agree with you too.
What's that?
No, I agree with you too.
Well, I know you were going to agree with me, but I'm just more talking because there's like a general, a larger audience that's gonna hear this, and they're probably like, "What the hell is this guy talking?" But no, like, genuinely speaking, like if we're like that far along as a team, do we really want to mess with that?
No. That's kind of like the Cade Mays conversation.
Especially if Brady isn't playing bad. Like, okay, if we're doing all this in spite of Brady all of a sudden, which I don't foresee that happening, like, how much do we want to mess with it? It's just one of those things where, you kind of like uncomfortable decisions are going to have to be made in the offseason because he was only re-signed to a 1-year deal. And it's like, he stepped in like wherever we've asked him to and has been a starting caliber player there. So it's like, we'd be silly to let him just walk out the door. So
I agree. So what do you give him another 1-year extension at, because he's probably going to want more money, inflation and everything.
He's got to have a market after. Like, I'm surprised he didn't have a market this offseason, but like if he continues to start and play well for us, I think there's just no way he doesn't have any type of larger market that we'll have to contend with and possibly make a decision. But
I'm sorry, Zach, but fuck that larger market. He's got to stay in Carolina. He's got to die in a Panthers jersey.
I mean, that sounds really good, ideally, but
it's the same thing with Taylor Moton.
He's been like, at some point the guy's got to. He's probably a little pissed off that he keeps getting passed over by us for other people. Like, it's like, okay, like we drafted him in 21, which, by the way, that 2021 draft class, we got 3 good players out of it.
I'm about to say sneaky.
Like, yeah, it wasn't a good draft class, but we got some players out of it. But anyways, we drafted him in 21. Matt Rule foolishly just refused. Matt Rule literally would play him everywhere but left tackle until those last 3 games, which he played left tackle. He looked good doing it. And then we draft Icky. Okay, cool. Number 6 overall pick. He's got to start at left tackle. We slide him over to left guard. He plays well at left guard, then gets hurt. And then we bring in Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt and relegate him to being like a backup center. It's just, at some point he's got to feel like, all right, if you guys aren't gonna, give me a larger role and this is what I'm producing, I'm just gonna go wherever else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this offensive line is going to have a lot of questions going into next year. There's a lot of guys that we're going to have to make a decision on. The one that we've kind of secretly talked about is Robert Hunt. Like, are we really going to pay him $29 million, almost $30 million to play that position? Obviously coming off injury and everything, but we realistically don't have a choice. I don't see a scenario where he gets traded. Genuinely, like the cap hit's got to be insane.
No, I don't see that scenario either. With I think honestly, like I don't know what Brant and Dan Morgan's philosophy on restructuring is, but I mean, it screams like he's a prime restructure candidate.
He better be.
And maybe that looks like us, you know, kicking that potential out down the road a little bit, because I think he's like, we have a potential out from his contract after next year. So not this year, but after the 2026 season, we can cut loose and not be on the hook for as much money. But I mean, as far as 2026 goes, I mean, you have to consider restructuring him if he wants to, stay here.
Yeah. That's fine with me. I'm fine with running back most of these offensive linemen. To be honest with you, I was saying early, and again, a lot of people called me out for it. They're like, man, this offensive line is going to be great. And my concern, I was like, man, there's something going on. I was like, man, there's going to be regressions here. But genuinely, through injury and all, they have proven me wrong. And I'm happy for it. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to want, bad to happen to my offensive line. It's just, man, that Robert Hunt injury, again, early one, concerned me. Damian Lewis was dealing with something. Chandler Zavala had the patella. I was like, oh God, dude, this is going to be one of those years. But surprisingly, everyone's come in and really played at a like almost all-star, level. Pretty much every game. Obviously, they've had their moments, but I honestly feel like a lot of these games could have been won if we just ran the damn ball more. Like we kept putting the ball in Bryce's hands at times, and obviously sometimes he was putting it on the ground. That didn't help. But I feel like the only way forwards is running the ball. So if that's the case, we have to pay all these guys. I don't care that, he's going to be getting $30 million. I'm still not paying a quarterback. I'm still not paying a wide receiver. I don't know of any crazy contracts coming up that we really have to deal with. You guys might be able. Oh, Ickham. That one's not going to be too bad. I mean, they still make a ton of money, but I don't know that he can really ask for Tristan Wirfs level money. He's going to have to ask for what, like 10th highest?
I'm giving him like mid-teens money and telling him, well, look. But the thing with Ickham is technically we still don't have to pay him yet because he hasn't hit his 5th year option. So I mean, we can really drag this out into next offseason if need be, because this is year 4 for him. Like we can have the 5th year option next year and make a decision, because I mean it could end up biting us because he could mess around and be an all pro in year 5, but we'll still be in better shape cap wise. We'll be in better shape cap wise to pay him an extension than we would be this year, just because it's like it's just like I don't think he's worth anything more than like mid-teens right now.
I agree with you, but if you think he has any potential, then you go into this offseason, get the deal done at a reasonable number that puts a bunch of the money in early, signing bonus or whatnot, and you end up have him averaging, say, 16 and a half, 17 and a half million a year. That's still way under the 22, 24, 26 that we look at long term. And by front loading that money, we can keep it off the cap. He could still get close to the same money, just structured in a different way. Because then, obviously, if he has the all-pro season, you saved yourself a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't, he has a really reworkable contract. But even if he continues to give us what he's given us so far, I'm fine with that. He's been fine most of the time. Obviously, he has his moments where he can't stop a nosebleed.
Did anybody else just cut out right there, or is just me?
It might have been you. I didn't notice anything.
Okay, my bad.
No, you're good.
What?
But we've been kind of going around the issue. We talked about it in our private group chat. Well, let's ask the question: who is the quarterback? Is it really Dalton, or are we really on Hendon Hooker watch?
I don't think we're quite on Hendon Hooker watch yet.
Did you guys see what happened? What just happened?
No. What, the turnover?
No, they signed Mike White to the practice squad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just signed. They wanted to bring in another quarterback, so I don't think they want Hooker to play at all.
So my thing is then why have them? Like
Yeah, then what's the
so
fucking
this
point?
means like two things to me before we get too far down that. This means two things to me. It means either they're actually expecting Bryce to miss
back.
time and Hooker is going to be elevated to backup and they still want an emergency third stringer, or they just have no plans for Hooker and he's permanent practice squad basically, and Mike White's going to be emergency third quarterback.
It's also funny because he was the backup for Buffalo, so we get to talk to him the whole week before the Buffalo game.
That could be that probably is the only reason why we brought him in, to be honest. It's just to talk about, just to get intel about Buffalo, but because it doesn't really make sense that we went out of our way to bring in Hendon Hooker, because we got him relatively shortly after he was cut by Detroit. It's not like we waited a while and then brought him in. No, he was cut by Detroit and less than 3-4 days later we signed him.
Yeah. I liked his college tape, so I'm a little bit of a Hendon Hooker stan.
Yeah, I liked him too. That year, like I said, 2022, I was all about him, but the Tennessee offense is just hard to translate it to the NFL right now. So you have to, I think you have to handle him with care, and I think if you have any legitimate plans for him, whether he's long-term backup or you eventually want him to be the starter for whatever reason, you can't rush him into it. So that's why I said I don't think we're in Hendon Hooker watch just yet, just because I just think I'm just not 100% sure he's ready.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I was saying. If we're putting in Hendon Hooker, we have a bigger problem. I don't like Dalton. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's a long-term solution, or even, to be honest, a short-term solution. I hate that we're having to trot him out there. But at the same time, what is the better option, Mike White or Hendon Hooker? I'm good. I'd rather roll Dalton out there than those two. I liked Hendon Hooker for the deep ball. And to be honest, I feel like that could really benefit a guy like Tataroa, a guy like T-Mac, or a guy like Xavier. But at the same time, you're right. I'm not sure if that play can translate from college to the NFL level, and not just that, into the Canales scheme. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a cannon on him. But at the same time, can he process this Dave Canales system?
What say you, Rob? What do you think about the
backup quarterback?
Yeah,
Mike White don't make sense.
I just think Andy's going to come in. He's going to play. I think there's a chance that he actually plays pretty decent versus the Buffalo Bills, because they aren't a great defense this year. They've been pretty poor. If Penix, who just got soft benched, in my opinion, can play like he did and still beat the Bills on the back of Drake London and Bijan Robinson, I think if we give the ball to Rico and he, rushes for how he's been rushing forward, and we feed T-Mac, and we're hitting on explosives down the field, I think we have a decent shot of beating the Bills. I think the formula is there. And if we stop the run, they don't have crazy weapons actually, they don't have crazy weapons at all. I don't think Keon Coleman's good. I don't think Kincaid's all right. They're throwing a Josh Palmer on the outside. There's nobody who I'm really afraid of outside of number 17. So I'm not putting too much stock into the Hendon Hooker show just yet. Only if Andy gets injured, which is in play because Andy is not very mobile.
Yeah.
And we do have a better run blocking unit than pass blocking unit. And I do think Bryce mitigates a lot of the pass blocking failures by the offensive line. And I don't think Andy Dalton quite has that presence. But I don't think they have world beaters at edge on the Buffalo Bills either. So I expect us to play well on offense.
Only player on their defense, at least their defensive line, that really worries me is Ed Oliver.
Didn't
He
they get
missed that.
Bosa?
Yeah, they have
Bosa's
Bosa, but he's
Bosa's been
older
kind
now.
of mid this year.
He's been mid for a lot of years.
Yeah,
And then,
but this year
however, he missed that
specifically,
Atlanta game, so maybe he plays this game, but maybe not as well.
I just, it's first of all crazy to me that we went from losing Robert Hunt, losing all of our, hope essentially in the first game, to being like, man, we might be able to beat the Buffalo freaking Bills. What a turnaround for this team.
yeah, I mean,
Props to them, dude.
it
We've
might
been
be
cursed
our
this year.
2013 again. Like,
People are
as
saying that
crazy
in
as it
Space
sounds,
Area.
yeah, it sounds crazy. But that year we started off 0-2. People wanted Ron Rivera's head.
Yep.
Cam Newton was a bust and a disappointment. And then out of nowhere, it just all seemingly clicked, and we went to the playoffs as a really high seed. We even had a first round bye. So I don't think we're gonna have quite that level of turnaround.
Oh no.
But I mean, things do seem like they have clicked, especially defensively. It seems like Evero is finally getting out of his shell, so to speak, as a defensive play caller, and he's starting to get a little bit more creative with what he's doing.
Yep.
Almost to the point where I'm like, you know what, if we continue this, like, I'd be okay with extending him, because I don't think he's done enough or will do enough to get a head coaching gig. So I mean,
Yeah.
if it turns out that way, I'm totally fine with bringing him back as a defensive coordinator, just for that level of continuity in the room.
I agree with you. A lot of people still want his head on a spike, and I don't get it.
I mean,
But at the
people.
same-
there was like people still complaining about Dave Canales' play calling yesterday, and it's just like, I mean, like,
I
there
didn't
was
really
a
feel
few
like it was
plays
the
I
play
didn't like.
calling.
Like, there were a few plays that I didn't like yesterday, but I mean, overall, like, there wasn't really a whole bunch I could complain about.
I agree with you, and that's my problem with it. Is I feel like it's truly, and again, we said this last time. Dave Canales has said this probably 100,000 times. It's his favorite word. It's just the execution. Like, when we finally see guys hitting the right holes, when we finally see guys, pass blocking the right way, running the right routes, making the tackle in open space. There used to be a time where Carolina worried about field goals. We don't have to worry about that, it seems like, right now. So that's one thing off of our plate. But overall, this team has just changed in such a way that it's unrecognizable. Yeah, I feel like we could absolutely use improvements at, of course, linebacker, safety, the positions we've talked about, cornerback too, elevate that position. But it's really coming down to, we might be able to contend for the 1 seed if I could just get Bryce to figure out whatever is missing. Because regardless of what he's looked like positively, I posted it on Twitter. I mean, his touchdowns to total turnovers, they're pretty close. It's like, what is it, 11-9 or something like that, or 11-8. I mean, that's not a great turnover ratio. Obviously, he's going to be out. So he's going to be out a little bit, so that'll help his numbers, or I guess hurt his numbers, because he won't get the opportunity to get touchdowns. But even when he comes back, I feel like he just needs to, I say just hand the ball off to Rico, but I could have anybody do that. So why do I care so much that Bryce does it? And that's where I get into this thing of like, okay, what are we looking at next year then? Obviously, we're probably going to roll Bryce Young. We're probably not going out and getting another quarterback. That doesn't make sense, especially with 4 of 3 through 7. I feel like the answer is not quarterback in the first round.
Yeah. The main issue I have with Bryce right now is he just doesn't push the ball down the field aggressively. Nope. And like, we're gonna see on Sunday, like, even if Indy doesn't have a crazy arm, he's just a much more aggressive player. And Bryce is way more conservative. And I don't think that really is conducive with Dave's system. I don't think Dave runs a, Drew Brees, like, super quick game, super, like, condensed system. I think like you play with Baker, he really wants to have a run and play action deep shot system. And
I agree.
I really don't think Bryce synchronizes with that offense well. Because he's more of a dink and dunk. Let's methodically get the ball down the field type of quarterback.
I agree. He's more of a Sean McVay or more of a Kyle Shanahan. He would do
Yeah,
fantastic with
yes,
those like
yes.
deep West Coast guys.
And,
What do you
and
think,
yeah,
Jack?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that's been said as far as Dave's system goes. I do think there are times where Bryce does try and push the ball downfield, but it's just always seems like whenever those opportunities do come, something goes wrong. Like his arm gets hit in the pocket, or he has to move so his feet don't get set, or just
Yeah.
something wacky happens and it just doesn't seem to go right. So I don't know. I do think that we still lack a clear vertical threat in our passing game. Um,
Really?
it just yeah. Well,
that's where
not really.
that's
When
where
I
me
say
and Zach
vertical
part
threat,
ways.
hold on. When I say vertical threat, I don't mean like from a personnel standpoint necessarily. I just mean from like what's happening on the field. There's no threat
Okay.
of a vertical
I agree with you.
attack.
I agree
Like
with you,
it's
but I feel like
just
that goes back to the quarterback.
well, it can
Yeah,
go
that's
back
what
to
I
the
think too.
quarterback, or it can go back to the weapon. Like, it's whatever you perceive it to be. Like I think there's evidence both ways. Like I think there's evidence of the receivers not being able to win downfield fast enough, and
Yeah.
there's also evidence of the quarterback not being able to hit those guys downfield when they do win. So I
Hey,
just think it's
that's the thing too, Zach. But like you're gonna see too. Like I'm pretty sure we will. You're gonna see Andy give them the opportunity, even if they're not wide open. He'll
mhm,
try to fit a ball down like deep outside the numbers, like over the shoulder, where they
Yep.
they only have one step of separation. Whereas Bryce, like he's gonna throw to them if they're wide open, but he doesn't really attempt those kind of throws.
mhm.
I agree. I mean, it reminds me of if you go back and watch his college tape, he was one of those guys that was hitting dudes in full stride. He's hitting dudes. It's like he immediately knows the ball is coming out to the dude on his left. He knows he's going to beat that corner that's pressing him or
Debo's wide
whatever.
open.
Yeah, there's moments, but that was where Bryce does well. I agree with what you guys said. He's more of like working within it, more of a rhythm thrower, like Canales has said. But I feel like his bigger problem is he sees the guys, but he sees them as they're open. Like you said, he's not seeing them as they're about to be open. Oh, they only have a foot of separation. Okay, well he's about to get two or three more. You just got to put the ball in the right place. And Bryce doesn't see it until the dude's literally wide open, and then you're trying to force a ball in to a guy where there's safeties and corners coming from every direction, ready to rip their heads off. And I don't feel like that's a good idea either.
Well, the crazy part is like if you look at him throwing short and intermediate stuff, like he does
He
do
throws
that
with
stuff.
anticipation.
Like
Yeah, that's what I
He
was thinking
does.
too.
He
like
does.
in the short and like I'd say even medium, like 10 yards and in, like he throws the hell out of like he like anticipation, like that's what he does. But when it comes to like shots downfield, it does seem like it has to be perfect for him to make that throw. So it's just I mean I do think there's limitations, but I also think that it's also it's also on the coaches to still try and put the offense in the best position to succeed given those limitations, which I think Dave has done a better job of this year.
I
So
agree.
hats off to him, but it seems like a bad marriage, still like it still seems like they're in like a weird kind of
They're going to
feeling out
counseling
phase
now.
with it. Yeah, they're like in a weird phase where it's like, well, I like you, but I
He
don't
asked
know if I
Bryce to move out
love
of the
you.
house.
Yeah, it's just like, I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they, yeah,
I'm not. I'm just gonna wait and see after the season is over. Like see the whole body of work, unless Andy does something like ridiculous. But even if he does do something ridiculous, we saw last year that it wasn't very sustainable. Like he had a game and a half where he looked like, okay, yeah, this was the missing piece of our offense,
Yeah.
and then he came back down to earth, and it was like, all right, well, you might as well put Bryce back in now because.
And
this
that's
shit
where I feel like
stinks.
Dalton's going to give us one good game. I don't feel like it's going to be the Buffalo game. Buffalo's coming off the bye. I do feel like this is going to be a game where it's going to be like, shit, we're back to being the Panthers, where it's going to be like, God damn, what happened? James Cook's going to have 2+ touchdowns. It could be one of those days. It could also be one of those days against the Bills. It could be a day where, Rico goes off for 200 again. But I really feel like it opens up after that. I was actually going to ask you guys that. Like, I could see a scenario coming out of that, win or loss, regardless of the Bills. The Packers look absolutely beatable. And as long as we can have a competent offense, meaning not what we saw in that Jets game, the Packers game is absolutely winnable. So that is a real option. Now, obviously, I say winnable thinking that Bryce is going to be out there. I'm not really sure what Dalton's going to look like. So this Bills game might be a little bit of a mirage for what we're going to see going forwards. But after that, Falcons, Niners, Rams, and then I'm pretty sure it's the bye. Oh, I'm sorry. Falcons, Niners, Rams, Saints, Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks. No, yeah, the bye is after the Rams game. I'm sorry. So, that's a solid little 5-game stretch where I genuinely feel like all 5 of those games are winnable. Packers, Saints, Falcons, Niners, Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers game scares me. Just like, even though they overall they look beatable, I think they match up very well against us.
You think?
Like, yeah,
It's the
because
Micah Parsons effect.
they,
they're all of their
he's a bad
linebackers are
matchup,
crazy.
yeah.
but no, but yeah, I think like what they do as a team well, it just like it really screams like they can give us a lot of issues because. Like you were listed off the teams that are good against, like they're up there. Okay,
Yeah.
They have that dynamic pass rusher that can, wreck the game for us by himself. And on
Great tight
offense,
end.
on offense, like you don't know what the heck Jordan Love is gonna do. Like they have
which
like
Jordan
5 or
Love will
6
show up.
guys. Yeah, they have 5 or 6 guys that could cut us up on offense. Like, and they don't even have to go at JC. Like they have 5 or 6 guys that they can work with. While JC is occupied with, Dobbs or Golden, like it just kind of gives me a bad feeling, and then it's in Lambeau, like the refs are gonna be a little bit partial to them, so I just that game kind of weirds me out. I think that's the game where we kind of like, oh boy, we're back to being the Panthers. Like I could see a scenario where we lose a close game to Buffalo. Morale is still somewhat high because we were without our starting quarterback and, it's Josh Allen and, this, that, and the third. And then we go to Lambeau, get boat raced, and then everybody's like, oh, shit, we're back to being sorry again. It's like, not necessarily. I just think Green Bay matches up well against us.
Yeah, and even if we drop both of those games, you're talking about being 4-5 going into a Saints game at home that you should win. And then at Falcons, which I think, again, I genuinely think that we could be 2-0 against the Falcons this year, especially if we come out of that Saints win with a solid win, with the confidence high. I feel like that could go. Again, the 49ers, pretty much their entire team is on IR, and depending on which Rams team shows up, I mean, we could have another shot. Their defense is good, but I mean, Puka's dealing with stuff. Stafford, had the back stuff in the beginning of the year. Maybe that starts to rear its ugly head. I could
You
see
see what they
absolutely.
just did to the Jacksonville Jaguars with no Puka?
Yeah, man. The Rams are in that same boat as Green Bay for me. Like they match
I
up. They
think the
match up
Rams
well
going to
against
the
us.
NFC Championship game, man.
I could see
And
that.
they
I
have
don't know
elite
about
pass
all
rushers.
that, but I do. I mean, I think they're a player, but I do think when all cylinders are firing, there's a few teams that I think are better than them. But we'll see. But yeah, I think the Rams are in that same boat where it's just like they just match up too well against us for me to really feel like that game is particularly winnable just yet.
Zach, I can't believe I'm saying this, but don't take away my hope.
Hey man, Listen,
This coming
I'm just
from Roll
saying.
is crazy.
I know. You're really getting me. But no, I just like I seriously think those two teams, like as far as just like how the teams match up, as far like on the
I
players
agree
on
with
the
you, by
field,
the way.
like they just match up. They're a bad matchup for us.
They're a bad matchup for basically every team in the league. I don't know what team goes
Yeah,
to a Rams game and goes, man, we're going to dominate them. I mean, they even struggle against the Eagles. Like,
yeah,
uh, they are just one of those teams that I don't know if it's coaching. Obviously, it's player scouting and personnel. They're obviously able to go out there and pick the right guys for their system and everything like that. But man, they're batting 1,000 basically. We need whoever they have.
yeah. I think we're on our way there. Like I think we're really we're so I think we're really really close to being a dangerous team. Just because like I see the vision. I see what they want to do, but there's just some minor tweaks that need to happen for us to get to that ideal happy place.
Yeah, because our floor is so like I was saying. I think I said this to you guys last time. Our floor is high because we run the ball and stop the run,
Hmm.
and what'll determine our ceiling is if we can affect the passer on the opposite side, and we can create explosives on the offensive side, like through our pass game.
Yeah.
And once we're able to do both of those things on both sides, then we'll be like a real player. We'll be an elite team.
Yeah, but I think I will say like once the season like gets down the stretch, nobody's gonna want to see us because we run the ball and we stop the run, like Rob said. Like it could almost be like a 2022 type thing again, where we're just that team on the schedule where we
God
just
damn it! Here comes the Panthers.
yeah, I know.
Right.
Like like I could really see that being the case down the stretch, just because like once you get into the colder weather and playoff footballs around the corner, like controlling the line of scrimmage becomes the thing. Like, and with a guy like Derek Brown, like we're always
DPOY
going to be
candidate this year.
yeah, we're always going to be able to affect the line of scrimmage with him up there, and then we've got guys around him like Turk Wharton had a good game back. He was in the mix. Bobby Brown was still doing his thing when he was out there. And I think with added development from Princely and Nick Scorton, like we're gonna
Yeah.
be tough at the line of scrimmage. You know,
Look, and shoot, man, we got Derek Brown. I feel like he's having the best year of his career this year. Like he's
he's
affecting the
already
quarterback.
he's
Yeah.
already career high in sacks.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we're only what, 7 games in? He
Yeah.
has 8 pressures. I think he's had 2 like holding penalties that prevented sacks already as well. Those don't even get counted as sacks. He's really stepped up in his ability to affect the passer this year. And then
Yeah,
we saw Nick Scorton, like he got so close to like
A
much more
few.
sacks yesterday. Like once he like starts finishing some of these plays, he can be a really good player. And then we saw Princely, he got a sack yesterday, and we saw Nick get 1.5. Maybe, maybe we just need to wait on the edges instead of grabbing another one.
Yeah.
But I never think you can have too much edge help. Like having 3 really good rock solid edges is not a problem to me, and it's something that I would like to have. So I kind of like the foundation we're getting on defense. I really thought that the defense would be the problem this year, and our offense would have to carry us. But it's
Nope.
kind of been the opposite.
I'll
yeah.
go find my tweet where it's exactly what I said was going to happen, dude. I was like, dude, it's exactly what happens to us. It's like, man, one year the offense is good, and the next year it takes a step back, and it just keeps going back and forth. Like
Yeah.
we're
Because
still a
I
team
still
that
don't think.
we've
Oh,
never
go ahead.
had back-to-back winning seasons. That blows my mind.
And I don't think we're still not playing as good on offense as we were the last 10 games of the season.
Right.
Last
I
year,
agree.
like as a unit, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Bryce has gotten back into that groove yet. Um, and that's still something like I'm really looking for in it. And like until we get it, like, that's something I'm still gonna be speaking on is the passing game.
I agree, and it can't get opened until I feel like Bryce just takes that next step. I feel like when we see him in these training camp videos, shout out Charlotte Vibe, they always post the training camp footage. And you see Bryce go out there, and he just kind of deals the ball, and he looks nonchalant, people dancing the whole bit. And that's when he's got the swagger, when he's, aura farming or whatever people want to say. And then we go to the moments where he's in games, and that's not what we're getting. We're getting a guy that's constantly concerned about turning it over. And while I understand that, he must be maybe hearing something from behind the scenes. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't just uncork it at this point. Whatever you've got, you need to put out there, because whatever you're holding back could be the reason why you get benched. Like, and if he ends up getting benched, obviously I don't feel like this is a true soft benching. Obviously with the MRI and stuff, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So that gives me some pause that maybe this actually might be just a pure injury. And this just kind of gives Canales the opportunity to see if his system works with a different quarterback or would do better with a Dalton or a Hendon Hooker or Mike White or whatever. But I feel like if it's anything to do with Bryce, he's just got to put it all out there, especially when he comes back. If he comes back in 4 or 6 weeks and he's healed up and he's ready to go, those last 4 or 5 games, you're going to have to absolutely just blow people away. Because going into next year, there's obviously going to be some people thinking like, maybe Carolina does go out and swap out veterans. Maybe they do go bring in somebody that might be able to actually take over the reins in the event that he just can't handle it. Obviously not named Andy Dalton.
Did y'all just see this Tez Johnson play?
Where he leaped over that dude?
Man, the Bucks like
That's what we need
from wide receivers, bro.
That's what Leggett was supposed to be.
Nah, he doesn't have enough shimmy, like shake like that. Like, I need that from Jimmy Horn, honestly.
That was my question. Okay, here's a great question about
Jimmy has
Jimmy Horn.
some real vision issues, man. Like,
he does. Like
it's kind of crazy.
It's like he has the skill set to pop those plays, but he just doesn't see the blocks setting themselves up. He doesn't see like the lane, like what potentially. It's like he doesn't have a runner, and it's funny to say that, like, because he's a wide receiver, but he doesn't have the mind of a running back when he has the ball in his hands. Yeah. And I feel like you have to have that to play wide receiver in 2025.
I agree.
You almost have to turn into a running back with the ball in your hands because, things are just moving so, so fast, and you just have to have a dynamic mindset. You can't be a possession receiver where the play dies wherever you catch the ball. You know what I'm saying?
And not just that, but he's in a different scenario. Like Jimmy Horn Jr. is in a place where, no offense, Trevor Etienne seems to be the better returner. So he's really fighting to get into the wide receiver room at times. And he's a completely different body style than literally everybody else in that room. Everybody else is basically 6'1" or higher, big, thick wide receivers that can support and blocking. And when Jimmy Horn is out there, people know, he's a viable target. Someone's going to look at him to put the ball in his hands because he can make stuff happen. But when he doesn't do that, I feel like that's going to limit his long-term potential. I mean, he's a 7th-round pick. Our 7th-round pick from 2 years ago isn't on this team anymore. And if he's not going to contribute on special teams, because he's certainly not going to be a gunner or anything like that, he's like, 180, 190 pounds? So we're going to put somebody else in to do that. We're not going to have him do that at all. So his literal only way is special teams and wide receiver. And if he's not contributing in the wide receiver, then why the hell is he on the team? So I feel like that's where
he's going to contribute though on wide receiver.
Yeah, huh? I mean, I think he's been contributing. So far.
You think so?
I feel like he's been contributing, yes. But again, he's one of those guys that it reminds me of Sanders. When he's out there, that he's out there for a reason. Gadget plays and stuff like that. He's not out there. Like if he was out there as our wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, sure. But our wide receiver 4 essentially most of the time is either Jatavian Sanders or a Bryson Tremaine, something like that. It's not a Jimmy Horn Jr. on the regular basis. And even in those scenarios, we don't go 4 wide on a regular basis or even 5 wide. So we're not doing that to the point where Jimmy Horn, I feel like, can actually, A, get going, and really figure out if he's going to be an option for this team. Of course, he's a 7th round pick. He's under contract for years. Not saying cut him, but I just feel like with the wide receiver room, the way it looks, I don't look at this team adding another wide receiver. You've already got T-Mac, you've got XL, you've got Jalen Coker all under contract. I don't see the point of adding to that room. Obviously, your 4th guy could be Jimmy Horn, could be Bryson, could be whoever. But I don't feel like adding a Carnell Tate or something from the draft makes this team better. I feel like you have to invest that in other places. So for that reason, I don't see a scenario where, again, Jimmy Horn cuts into that group. Could he beat out XL? I doubt it. I'm not even a big Xavier Legette fan, but I don't think he can beat out Xavier Legette for a job or Jalen Coker or anything like that. So again, he's fighting for wide receiver 4.
I mean, I think,
Man, I
you
think
know,
wide
I
receiver
think
4 is pretty valuable.
ideally, I think he is that wide receiver 4, and Bryson Tremaine kind of takes over that role that they wanted Jatavian Sanders to have.
I'm totally fine with that.
Just because, like, I mean, as funny as it sounds, there's really not a whole lot that Jatavian Sanders brings to the table that Bryson Tremaine doesn't at this point. Tremaine's a better blocker.
Yep.
He's got better hands. He's obviously a better route runner. He's faster. Like
he's taller.
He's more committed.
It's just there's really no
Gets
reason
more
to have
Yeah.
But there's really no reason to have Jatavian Sanders out there at this point, just because like he's not doing actual tight end stuff that Tremble and Mitch Evans are doing, and the niche role that they wanted him to have in the offense, it's like he's not even fitting that well anymore compared to Bryson Tremaine. Like legitimately, Bryson Tremaine could be that hybrid tight end wide receiver on the roster, and you can still find a place for Jimmy Horn to get his snaps as well, and you don't lose anything offensively.
I agree with you, and just so you know, Jimmy Horn is listed as wide receiver 4 on the website. So he is wide receiver 4. Bryson is 5.
Yeah, and I think that's perfect. Honestly,
I just don't see how he breaks into the offense. Like, I understand the little gadget plays, and don't get me wrong, that 4th down conversion. Thank you for that, but I just don't see a scenario where he's out on the field on a regular basis unless this offense just fundamentally changes. And again, we're most likely not running the scenarios where he's out there on the field. I'd much rather have the original 3, T-Mac, Coker, and XL out there than literally any other combination of wide receivers, outside of maybe adding Bryson Tremaine out there for Xavier Legette on occasion. But
you just don't value like gadget receivers. Or
I think
receivers.
I don't think it benefits the quarterback that we currently have. If it was another wide receiver or another quarterback, I feel like he could work into there. But I feel like the way that Bryce has to maneuver in the pocket and everything like that, not only finding another small person, but finding another small person with the window that he's going to need to put the ball into for him to not only get the ball, but be able to do something with it is so small that I don't feel like that's something I would rather do. I would want to do. I would much rather him throw 50-50 balls to T-Mac, Coker, or XL than do that. Again, I love what he could do, but I just don't love that he hasn't been able to beat out Trevor Etienne for the special teams role. I feel like that was the bar for me.
Yeah. I think that has to do more of his inability to, read blocks. But I think you have to value the change of pace that he brings on offense when he is out there. Just because, when you mention T-Mac, Legette, and Coker all out on the field at the same time. I think there's certain limitations that having all 3 of those guys out on the field at the same. I know, Rob was saying earlier, Legette was winning downfield, on all 22, but it's there still feels like a certain level of congestion on the field when all 3 of those guys would be out there. You even saw it when you had Bryson Tremaine out there with that. It's just there's just not enough
speed.
It's not really speed, but it's just you have a bunch of guys all attacking the same level of the field essentially. When you could have a guy like Jimmy Horn, like you have to respect Jimmy Horn out there, just because he is an explosive threat.
I agree with you.
Can I say this stat to you too?
What's up?
Sure.
Just to prove that. So to me, like I'm a wide receiver guy, and I think something that's underrated about wide receivers is your ability to garner targets. I think earning targets is a skill,
Mhm.
and the best wide receivers will always garner targets. Um, so Jimmy Horn, he's only played in like 2, 3 games so far, but for rookie wide receiver, he's fourth in first read target share. So that's telling me when he's
Ooh.
on the field, that Bryce is looking his way and trying to get him the football because he's open. Um, and that's just something that Leggett's not getting like as open, like wide open, like Jimmy Horn has been getting. I think I think we're scheming him up pretty well as well. I think we're utilizing him in a special role, and it's going to take time to build because he's a 6th-round rookie. I don't think he's in every package, and I think rookies it takes some time for their snap share to grow, and I think you'll see it more throughout the season.
I agree. I'm not saying that I don't like. I like the idea of the like off-speed pitch, and that's kind of what it reminds me of like, oh, he's the we need the fastball kind of thing. I just wish that he was given more opportunity, but it feels like that wide receiver room. Obviously, we dealt with a Coker injury. Xavier wasn't really doing anything, so the room seemed thin. But now that everybody seems pretty much back on pace, aside from obviously Coker kind of healing back up and getting back to true 100%, I feel like the room is really stacked. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of room to break in there, barring an injury. And sure, if he comes in off an injury, I would love that off-speed pitch and everything. But until that happens, I'm fine with running the other guys and then just Jimmy Horn on occasion. Or to be honest, instead of running both running backs at times, putting Jimmy Horn back there to take balls out of the backfield. Because he's shifty for sure, but he needs to improve his his downfield reading, whatever it may be.
Yeah. His there's some things. I think the reason like people are getting on Davis too, I just think he wasn't ready to play wide receiver in the NFL. I don't know if you guys watched that Blueprint episode. Like he was running routes that were causing like even Andy Dalton to throw interceptions. I think it just took some while for Dave to trust him on the field. And he's still making some mistakes. So I think you just gotta give him some time.
That Shedeur run offense was run a little differently. Which, speaking of, I'm surprised.
Mickey Mouse, yeah.
I'm surprised that whole situation with the Browns, but
you don't like Dillon Gabriel?
Dude, I saw a picture of him. It looks like he's 5'8". I genuinely was going to post a picture because somebody stood next to him at a picture, and they're like, I'm legally listed as 5'9", and he was shorter than him. And I'm like, yo, is there a scenario? I want to see a picture of him and Bryce Young standing next to each other. Because if Bryce Young is taller, oh my God, I'm going to dunk on Browns fans forever.
Bryce is definitely taller, I think.
They're supposed to be the same height.
I thought Gabriel.
It's crazy. Like I could have sworn when he was at UCF, they said he was 5'9".
Dude, if he 5'9" is crazy. I understand 5'10" is short, but 5'9" is crazy.
Like I'm like I could be making this up in my head, but I'm pretty sure because like Dillon Gabriel started his career at UCF. I'm pretty sure they said he was 5'9" when he was the starter there.
When I Google it, it says he's 5'11".
Yeah, there's no way he's 5'11" because there was that picture. Y'all saw that Oregon quarterback's picture where he was standing next to Bo Nix and Justin Herbert. Now, taking Justin Herbert out of the question because he's a large quarterback, but Bo Nix isn't particularly big himself, and he like dwarfs Dillon Gabriel,
which blows my mind. Like
I think Bo Nix is like it's 6'1".
Yeah, he's a thick dude though.
Oh yeah, who Bo Nix?
Yeah,
he's about like 225. Like,
Yeah, that's what you need.
He's got that Dak Prescott kind of build.
Which, speaking of Dak Prescott, man, what a year for him. No CD Lamb,
Yeah.
and he's still out there torching folks.
Well, it's because George Pickens is a lot more versatile than what Pittsburgh showed.
Oh,
Like,
I agree.
It kind of surprised me. Like Pittsburgh just had him like running vertical routes downfield, and it's like, no, this guy can move all over the field. He can do a little bit of everything, and then when CD goes down, he can come in and dominate the game.
Yeah.
So
And not just that, he's a little
gonna get
crazy. And that's
payday.
what you need to do as a wide receiver at this point.
If you're Dallas, do you pay him?
No. I
You
mean,
have a choice?
Man,
you always have
you
a
see how
choice,
the
but I mean, the
Bengals
thing
do
is,
it?
is like the thing with Dallas is like Dallas has to fix their defense, man.
Yeah,
Like because here's the thing: if you let George Pickens walk, like it's not the end of the world because you have Dak still, you have CD Lamb still. They're both under contract.
you got
You
2
have a
first
Javante
rounders.
Williams. Yeah, exactly. You have 2 first round. Like you don't need to pay George Pickens, okay? Like, and I know
If you're going to get
Cincinnati
rid of
did it.
Diggs, why not just pay a wide receiver? Because you're gonna spend that money other places, or
You
get rid.
gotta
Or should
you gotta build out the defense if you're Dallas, man. Like it's not even if you let Diggs go, you can't even think about paying Pickens, in my
So,
opinion. There's
so
just
here's the
so
thing.
much. What's
Yeah,
up?
you're going to be paying Dak 60 million. You're going to be
Uh-huh.
paying CD Lamb 33, 35 million. So what are you going to pay? Another 30 million to George Pickens and just have like 60% of the cap on your offense? Or
okay.
that's probably
Then
more
why
than
don't?
60%.
Here's my question: then why don't you just franchise tag him? Then I understand that means that you'd be paying him $37 million, but that's a 1 year. Run it back, see what you can do with it, and then take whatever money you have extra and figure out what you can do with it.
That's an
I mean,
option. Or
it
trade,
is,
like
but
tag and trade.
I think just Dallas being Dallas, there's like
You're gonna let him walk.
Dallas should have no problem getting free agents to come there if they offer competitive contracts just because they're the Dallas Cowboys. So it's like, they really had the opportunity to build their defense out. It would just not be smart team building to go and pay George Pickens, 33, 34 million, whatever he's going to cuz he's going to get a big payday. Like,
Who do you
and
think is gonna give it to him?
The
The funniest storyline is New
Probably,
England.
I would probably say Buffalo could be in the market for him.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
The Titans need him.
The Titans. Like, could you imagine him with Cam Ward?
Yeah, they push
It's
those
like
kind
two
of mesh.
psychopaths.
Yeah,
You
Dude,
said what?
I love Cam Ward, by the way.
they
He's
push
gonna be
those. I
great.
like Cam Ward too, man. You see some of the high level like throws down the fields he's making, like
Yeah,
it's my kind of quarterback. I like Cam Ward as a prospect.
I'm the OG Cam Ward truther though. I've seen the vision.
He is.
I've seen the vision for years, and it's sad that he has to go through what he went through, because people were laughing at like Brian Callahan when he was like screaming at Will Levis on the sideline last year, but it's like he's not a good coach. Like, say what you want about Will Levis, but like you're literally screaming at your quarterback on the sideline like that. Like, that just shows you have no control over your team, over the room. Like, I've always had like a philosophy as when I was in a position of leadership, is that anybody who has to yell to get their message across, like scream like that, shows that they're not in control of the situation.
Fair.
Someone who has to scream to get a point across like that is not in control of the situation. It's just like he's not a good coach. Like, he's just not. He, like Zach Taylor, he was carried by ridiculous amounts of talent on the offensive side of the ball, and he Mickey Moused his way to a head coaching job that he should have never got.
And it's crazy to me that Carolina has the exact opposite head coach, a guy that is known to be way too optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a fine line. Like, a football coach has to have like a level of intensity, but you
There's a Dan
also can't
Campbell
be
out
like
there.
a yeah, you can't be like a petulant child, like just
Yeah,
like throwing a temper tantrum at your players. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
it
agree.
has to be like there's a different type of like yelling. Like there's like that motivational, Steve Wilkes, Dan Campbell, rah rah. I'm gonna run through a brick wall with my head first, that type screaming. And there's like a petulant child throwing a temper tantrum, which is what Brian Callahan was doing.
Yeah.
So
Or Robert Salo when he was a head coach, and now that he's a DC again, apparently he figured out the sauce.
I just think Robert Saleh is a better coordinator than he is head coach.
So was Callahan, and you know
I
what?
don't think
So is Mike
Callahan was.
McDaniel.
I don't think Callahan was a good coordinator though.
And he
You didn't
wasn't
like
even
him?
calling plays.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, exactly, he wasn't even calling plays when he was in Cincinnati. Like, it was Zach Taylor, and like even Zach Taylor, you're being carried by literally three
The
of the
Burrow
best
merchant.
players. Like,
Oh,
you got Joe Burrow and probably the best wide receiver of our generation, if not number two. Like,
So
it's just like.
he was their Frank Reich to their Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, not even, man. It's just like, because like Frank Reich at least like showed signs of life as a head coach at one point.
Yeah,
Like Brian Callahan
in the
was pretty
early
much
years.
DOA. Like it's just
Frank called plays though.
yeah.
He didn't call plays for that Eagles team, is what I was saying.
I'm pretty sure he did.
No, they said Doug Peterson was a play caller for that Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Yeah, trust
I know-
me.
I know he
I thought the
called
same thing
plays,
too, but somebody fact checked me one day on it, and I've had to correct myself. But yeah, I don't know. So what happens now? Obviously, I don't think Dayball gets fired. I think that Giants game was close enough. You just kind of chalk that up to whatever. But Mike McDaniel's got to get fired, right? At some point.
I mean,
they
it's
say
weird.
that there's
So
nothing
did y'all see
happening.
that? Did y'all see that clip of? I reposted it on my Twitter, but it's like Mike McGinn was like, "Yeah, I expect us to not throw 10 interceptions."
Oh yeah, he's
It's
throwing
just like
Tua under the bus.
it's like there is no sense of like
Yeah, he's
control
going
in
that.
that like.
What's the
I
man's
said-
name? He's going that route. Damn it,
Flores.
what's the cut? Yeah, he's going the Flores route.
Yeah, I said like, hey man, the league fucked up. Like the league is not ready for him and Brian Flores to unite under their hatred of Tua. Like it's gonna happen. Like Brian Flores is gonna get a head coaching job, and his offensive coordinator is gonna be Mike McDaniel. And they're
That'll
gonna
be a
ruin the
crazy
league.
duo. That's gonna be a crazy
They're,
duo. I'm not
they're gonna
lie.
ruin the league because of Tua. All
It's just-
because Tua's trash. We're gonna get like the head coach offensive coordinator duo from hell, because they really would like if they were to like work it out, like how they're like, oh, get the awkward, like, okay, you're the guy to replace me at this job, get all that stuff out of the way. Like they actually would fit together really nice.
I agree, just without Tua.
Yeah,
Send him into the
Yeah.
sun or something.
I would hate just being stuck in mid quarterback purgatory, where you're paying a mid quarterback top of the line money, and they're just not providing like any extra value like the other great quarterbacks do. So like it kind of really like
Trevor Lawrence.
hamstrings your organization. Yes, like Trevor. Trevor is playing some stinky football. Like I think he's damn near I think he's playing like similar to Bryce. You know what I'm saying? He's making like 3 times as much money. So that's crazy.
I agree. Or Kyler Murray. That's another one.
Well, Kyler Murray's about to be
He's about to play
About to be-
Call of Duty professionally.
yeah, he's about to be out of a job soon, I think.
Who else? am I
Another
thinking?
interesting situation is what's going on in San Francisco.
Oh, with Mac Jones and Purdy.
Yeah, because you have Brock Purdy under the big contract, but Mac Jones is coming in, and you're basically seeing almost no drop off essentially between the two. Like maybe there's like a few things here and there, and then there's the rumor that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones in that 2021 draft class from the get go. So it's like,
Oh, he did.
He's got the guy that he always wanted.
Yep. But the best part is you can keep Mac Jones there and play Brock Purdy. In worst case, you could be like, yeah, Brock Purdy, He's still got to deal with something, and you basically do what this other teams are doing. You soft bench him for a little bit, and then you
But there's a,
throw Mac Jones back out there. He's going
believe
to be a
there's a
backup, pay him
difference.
backup money.
I believe there's a difference between soft benching a guy on a rookie contract and soft benching a $50 million quarterback.
Absolutely true,
Zach,
but
do you really
but
think
keep
that
riding Mac Jones.
Do you really
What-
think Mac has played quite well enough to really garner a quarterback controversy?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like
There's a
this
question to be had.
year, this year there hasn't really been a drop off in what you're getting out of Mac Jones versus Brock Purdy. Now, I think Brock Purdy, like in his first full season as the starter, you know, that was a better level of quarterback play. But I think this year, there's not really a big difference between the two. I feel like.
I would agree with you because I have both of them in fantasy, and they both do fantastic. But
And
I
it's just-
would say that it's not a controversy yet. I do really like Brock Purdy. He's still young. Mac Jones is close to his age. I mean, you could keep the two of them close together, but unless somebody's really willing to go all out to pay Mac Jones, you don't really have any rush to do anything. I would say keep rolling with Mac Jones as long as he's got the hot hand. But I have to resign myself to say that I can't give the job away just yet.
Nah, I don't think you can. And you also just paid Brock Purdy, so it just doesn't make whole lot
legit.
of sense to. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to
To Josh Rosen
to move on from him. But I do think it's worth at the very least calling out and
I agree.
There's
There's something there for sure, but is it also just that the Shanahan system will work with a lot of people? Because that's where it feels like you send guys to rehab.
Mhm. I think it works with certain guys.
Yeah,
I think-
it works.
I think
It
it-
works with the
I
guys
think-
that I feel like are more cerebral, that don't necessarily rely as much on their athleticism.
Not even cerebral, just like guys that are like, guys that already have like a certain baseline. Because like I don't think Shanahan is going to take a quarterback from scratch and develop them, because you saw they tried to do that with Trey Lance and
That did not
it
work.
didn't work. And like I just don't think Kyle Shanahan is a quarterback developer. He's a quarterback like, hey, we have this guy. He has a certain baseline. We're going to put him in this position and we'll be able to maximize it. Whereas like certain guys, they're just able to take a raw quarterback and turn him into a productive player. I don't think that's the Shanahan, system at all.
While I might agree with you, we do forget that Mac Jones at one point had a 77% completion rating with 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 4,500 yards at Alabama.
Yeah,
So he was definitely a guy that could get it done.
And we saw him in his
like
rookie
what you
year in
said.
New England. Like,
Yeah.
with Josh McDaniel, like before they tried to make Matt Patricia his offensive coordinator, like Mac Jones looked like he was on his way to being a productive quarterback. Maybe not like a top 15, top 10 guy, but a guy that you can win with.
Yeah.
So I just
and then
think,
Bill Belichick ruined him.
yeah, they made a defensive coordinator his play caller, and it just went downhill from there. And yeah, but
Do you feel like the offensive coordinator here in Carolina has benefited Bryce Young?
who, Idzik?
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
really
not
sure.
just Idzik and Canales.
I mean, as far as Idzik goes, like I'm not really sure that I'm not really sure what Idzik does. I'm not gonna lie.
Apparently,
But,
he runs the actual day-to-day of the offense, but he apparently also runs and develops a scheme with Dave on
Yeah,
a day-to-day
it sounds
basis.
like they're trying to Mickey Mouse him a head coaching job. I'm not gonna lie. Oh yeah, he does all this stuff behind the scenes, but he
Well,
doesn't call plays. Like he's
you don't
super
remember.
important to what we do.
Dave Canales and him said that they used to meet at each other's house every week and go over stuff.
Hey, that's totally fine, but I'm still not seeing tangible results of what he's doing here. And that's not saying that I think we should get rid of him. I just don't think
I got
that he's really
questions.
doing much. What's up?
No, that's I'm
Oh
saying
yeah,
on your
yeah.
behalf. You got
I just
questions.
don't really think he's like doing much of a traditional offensive coordinator. Like what I think is going on is I think Dave is, you know, Dave is running the offense while being the figurehead of the head coach, while Evero has complete control of the defense and
Yeah.
takes advice from Dave, like, hey, play the young guys more this week. Yeah, sure. All right, I got you. Here's
Yeah.
more DJ Johnson. All right,
Guys,
you
I gotta
want to
get
play
out of
DJ
here.
Johnson? We're gonna fucking cut him.
See you, Rob.
All right.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's what's going to happen is we need some of these defensive guys to take that next step. We hope it's going to get a replication of the pressure situation that we were able to do against the Jets, against their division opponent, the Bills. I really hope we can come out and at least look competitive. But either way, man, I appreciate both of you for taking the time out and sitting down and talking with me tonight. What's your official prediction for this Buffalo Bills Panthers game?
Oh man, official prediction. I'm
You don't
gonna go.
Okay, how about this? You don't have to be official. We still got a little bit of time. The game just happened yesterday, so we'll say unofficial for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Buffalo 28, Carolina 20.
Ooh, I like that. What about you, Rob? Oh, Rob might be gone.
Yeah, I think Rob might have dropped.
Okay, there we go. He finally dropped. Okay. If that's the case,
what's your unofficial official prediction?
You know what? I'm gonna drink a little bit of the Kool-Aid this week. I'm gonna say 27-17. I think the Bills will struggle coming out of the bye. We're gonna have questions about the Buffalo Bills. I pulled it up before. I'll pull it up again for the people that are watching. If you look at this Panther schedule, I could absolutely see scenarios where we're hitting the nail on the head every week, where we're just, we come in here and this is the Bills' sputtering point, and the Packers, have an issue, or Micah Parsons deals with something and he can't play in the Panthers game, and then we go to the Saints and roll them, and then Michael Penix is benched by that Falcons game, and there could be some crazy things that snowball this into a crazy year for us. So you know what? As much as I want to be pessimistic, and you know what, I'll probably bet pessimistically. Right now, I will take the Panthers to win this for sure.
We'll take it. I think I think I saw something that the Buffalo hasn't lost coming out of a bye week since 2017. So if we do win this game, I think it'll be a big deal.
I agree. It'll have to be one where we stamp it too. It'll have to be a Rico game. It'll have to be a T-Mac 152 touchdown game. Like somebody's going to have a day for this to be a win. It's not going to be where there's no 100-yard rusher or receiver.
I said it earlier, but if you're one that pays attention to like patterns and stuff, buy Xavier Legette stock now, because he had his best games as a rookie when Dalton was the quarterback, and it was clear that Dalton was looking for him when he came.
So,
I agree with you. Didn't you post it actually?
I did, yeah. Like Dalton went out there. He was looking for Legette, and he like I said, he had his best games as a rookie with Dalton as a quarterback. So I think right now, like if you're buying stock on anybody on the offense not named Rico Dowdle, Xavier Legette has to be that guy, I think.
I agree with you. It's got to be Xavier. I want to see him break out. I want to see him turn that corner. But regardless, we'll make it nice and easy. I'm going to end it now just before I hit the 2-hour mark. Zach, I appreciate you coming out and taking your time tonight. What are you doing the rest of the week? You going to be on any other podcasts or?
Oh no, man. I only give my time to you when it comes to the podcast.
Oh hell yeah, Zach! I appreciate you.
No doubt. But yeah, the rest of this week, I'm probably just chilling, man. Like,
any spaces coming
we'll
up?
see.
Anybody doing anything good this week?
No.
I might
Not that I
hop
know of. They might do some spaces throughout the week, but I don't really hop into those too much.
I agree with you. If you ever get the opportunity to check out Black Cat Panther podcast, I love them. They're hilarious, dude. They're a little bit Bryce pessimistic, but I feel like that they've got quite a bit of ammo, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, I think,
A win's a win's
he,
a win.
yeah.
But yeah, regardless, I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.